What is up, guys? Jason up the New 80s Revolution down here in the cave for a good old-fashioned toy collection video. That's right, we have been moving along the LJN Revisited line. We have talked about those glorious 8-inch figures. We've talked about the thumb wrestlers. We've talked about the bendies. And now, before we move on to other lines, other wrestling organization lines, AWAs, the WCW Galoobs, the San Francisco Toy Makers, before we get into those, we got to finish up with the WWF merchandise collection that I have. Other stuff affiliated with the great World Wrestling Federation. Not necessarily figure related, but the other stuff that I have in my collection. So let's do that now. Let's jump right into that. Hope you all are doing well in these trying times, right? Hope you're all healthy. I am healthy, and having fun, hanging out with you guys. We're going to be doing a live show soon. I can't wait to get back live with you guys. Maybe we'll do that in an upcoming weekend. The horror stuff is going fun. We're going to do some fun horror, watch a horror movie with me, eat some food. That's all coming up. That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. That's getting some good feedback. Hit up the flea market. We're going back this week to say hello to to my VHS friend who is hooking me up with a bunch more tapes, and then we'll do a review of those. He actually went and bought some VHS tapes, some horror tapes at the flea market, and then a few hours later I get a message that says, on YouTube, I posted the video of me reviewing them, and then the guy from the flea market's watching the YouTube show and going, hey, you bought all those from me. Like, great, we're making all these local friends. This is great. All right, so that's all coming up. Let's jump into the collection. These are non-figure related things. Again, before we move on to the other toy lines, the other wrestling figure toy lines. So some fun things. First of all, check this out. This I saw. These were in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. There was always an ad for these when Pro Wrestling Illustrated would have their. I remember seeing a color ad for this in one of the year in reviews. I think it was 88 or 89 Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine year in review. They would have a lot of color pages, and they would have some color ads for products from this company called the Wrestling Ring. It was in Baltimore, Maryland. I even have the address. Trust me, I've looked it up on Google Maps. It's just an old warehouse. But it was like a wrestling figure and wrestling collectible mail away, warehouse, the hub, right? Called the Wrestling Ring. It was in Baltimore, Maryland, and Pro Wrestling Illustrated must have had a deal with them, and they would run all of their ads. They would run all of their advertisements for figures, for they would sell video games, they sell wrestling clothing, belts, all kinds of fun stuff. The Wrestling Ring. So they ended up selling these as well, and I just remember the ad. I'll try to find it for you and insert it somewhere around here. The ad for all of these non-LJN but wrestling superstars watches, these WWF watches, and I have this Hogan one, but they had Hogan, Coco Beware, Randy Savage, Jake Roberts, Ricky Steamboat, Elizabeth. They had an Elizabeth watch, and I remember in the ad, and if I uploaded it, you can see it. There's a fist coming through a ring, like with LJN parts to it, turnbuckles and corner posts and ropes. The fist is coming up, and then of course the watch is on the. But I thought they were great. I don't know if I thought they were great as a kid. Obviously, I think they're great today, and would certainly strap this on my wrist and wear it. But I don't think it works anymore. I might be able to put a new battery in here. I don't know. But this is the Hulk Hogan version. I think this is around 1987, 1988 that these came out. I think more 87. well, they're saying 85 on the back, but that belt that he's wearing was debuted in 87. So that's what you get for being a big nerd. You know these things. So anyway, the Hulk Hogan Wrestling Superstars watch. A very, very cool, unique, I can't call them action figure line. These are expensive. These are hard to find. Let's see. You can get 3 of these fairly cheap. Not fairly cheap. No, I mean, $100. You can get Hulk Hogan. You can get Iron Sheik. You can get Jimmy Snuka on package for about $100. The Junkyard Dog, Roddy Piper are way more costly, and the Wendy Richter is like a $500, $600, $700 item. I am talking about from Winston Toys, affiliated with DIC, and Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon is the action figure-esque erasers. Check that out. I've got the Hulk Hogan in package, and it's kind of a unique package because, and I don't know if it was sold like this, but it kind of slides, like the figure's right there. The backing kind of slides off, and the figure's underneath, and it attaches at the bottom. There's like flaps, so it holds itself. This is delicate. Yeah, there you go. So it kind of holds itself in at the bottom and the sides with these flaps. But check out the back. Wendy Richter, really? Our only Wendy Richter figure of this era? That is incredible. Is that possibly maybe kind of what an LJN would have looked like for Wendy Richter? But these are all the Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling cartoon characters, drawings, and so you got an eraser. And had I didn't know about these as an 8-9-year-old kid. I didn't know they existed. If I did, and they were all 6 were like readily available at like, Phase Drugs or something, where you buy your school supplies. Oh my gosh, I would have had all 6, and I would have completely failed out of school because I would have been having wrestling matches on my desk constantly. You can't bring your action figures to school and play with them on your desk, but it's an eraser. You got to have your eraser on your desk. Oh my gosh, can you imagine wrestling figure erasers? I didn't have these as a kid. I guess I'm lucky that I didn't. These are cool. I would love the whole set, but they're very pricey. Very, very pricey. That's the Hulk Hogan. Some more silly stuff. Some more unique, silly stuff. I don't remember where I found this. Maybe at a toy show, maybe on eBay. I don't know. Wrestling Superstars soap. Decal soap. Wrestling Superstars from the, looks like the gift. Looks like the Gifford company. I don't know, Gifford soap. The plastic was already ripped off, don't worry. That wasn't a blooper or a botch. I didn't just ruin a $1,000 item. The plastic was already torn away, but check it out. Very cool stuff. There's the soap itself with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Still very soapy. Smells like hotel soap. I haven't used a bar of soap for years. Not that I don't wash my nether regions. I've used like shower gel for probably 15 years. So I don't even know if like people actually lather up with soap anymore. I don't know. But that's the Ricky Steamboat. You can see the Hulkster right there. Very cool LJN style packaging. I love how like all this sub LJN wrestling superstar stuff all just carried on the same style of packaging as the actual LJN figures. This is very cool. I like this little, I don't know, just a really nostalgic, odd, rare, not rare, but just weird. I mean, who has soap laying around, right? So maybe this is rare. I don't know. You get soap and you if somebody gave me this as a kid, I wasn't going to save it. I was going to go up in I was going to go take a bath, and I was going to rub Ricky Steamboat but anyway, I don't know why these would still be in the package, but I have them. This is very cool. This is very, very nostalgic. Very, very 80s, just 70s and 80s style toy. There were so many versions or variations of this toy as a kid. The Viewmaster, right? The great Viewmaster. There's actually two in here, which, yeah, didn't come with two. There's just a second one in here for some reason. A second Viewmaster, but how great, you know, how great. Viewmasters were just, you know, such a simple concept. I think I taped the box shut. Yeah, I taped it closed, but such a simple concept, you know, the Viewmaster. You just you put these little discs in the Viewmaster. I'll be able to get the plastic is off. I could probably get these out. And you just, you know, you stare at the sun or you stare at a light and you can, you know, you can see the images on the reel. It's like your own little mini projection, you know, in your hand. And, you know, everything had a Viewmaster reel, you know, cartoons, movies, you know, Ghostbusters, everything had its own Viewmaster reels. And so obviously you can't get through the 80s without the Wrestling Superstars, non-LJN of course, Wrestling Superstars Viewmaster. Great stuff. Great box, tons of fun little pictures on the box. Look at that. Best part of this, it's got a Target sticker on there. And I was watching some old commercials on YouTube. You can just get so lost on YouTube. But I was watching. There's a guy, Dave's Vintage or Dave's Retro or Dave's Archives or something like that, and he's just got so many 15-minute compilations of 80s commercials, you know, he puts them in these little theme packages like 80s Christmas commercials, 80s fast food commercials. He's got one with local 80s commercials from his, you know, local area. And I just can get lost watching those. But in one of them from like 83 or 84, I saw a Target ad. And so that means that I found out that Target is not just a newer store. You know, I thought Target, you know, started existing in the 90s. I didn't even know that Target was around. There was no Target here in my area until the 90s, like mid-90s. So I thought Target was actually a newer store. But it's not. It's not. It's been around. This is a very small portion of one of my Grail items. And I'm surprised I don't have it yet because I've been calling it a Grail for years. The Hulk Hogan Hulkamania workout set is a Grail. And that's kind of what it would look like. It's got the barbell and the poster and the tape and the headband, and I just love it. The box is beautiful, actually from LJN. The Hulk Hogan workout set it's usually about a $299 item. I always see it on eBay for $299.99. You know, it's like every seller selling the Hulkamania workout set is selling it for $299.99, or you know, they're just dumb and they're selling it for like $5.99. But anyway, this is a they put out little subsets, and this is a smaller subset with the hand grips and the Hulkster headband, which is so cool. It is so cool that I actually still have the Hulkster headband, and man, do I love this thing. And then, of course, boom, you can work on that grip with these absolutely non-resistant hand grips. So yeah, best part of this is the headband for sure. And it's so great that I'm going to keep it on. But they also had the Hulk Hogan, the subset of the jump rope set with the headband. And so basically you got a headband in every single workout. You got the dumbbell workout set, I guess I could set my sights on the jump rope one. But yeah, Hulkamania workout set is definitely on the Grail list for me. I want it. I need it. But I don't want to throw $300 at it. I don't know. I never have. I've seen it at toy shows. I just, you know, 150 maybe, you know, I'd be good with. But anyway, more wrestling superstar style stuff is this game, this very awesome game from 1985, the Wrestling Superstars game. Take a look at how awesome that looks. Right? So here's the thing with games. I had this as a kid and never played it. Right? I must have, you know, maybe I was, you know, slow or just not, you know, not getting it, but I struggled with, you know, with like these intricate involved games, which I'm sure this is not, but I never played games. I would always get board games, but I would never play them because they were all like, I could play Sorry and Life and Monopoly and, you know, stuff like that, Connect 4. But like this, you would think I'd be all over this. You'd think I would be playing this like daily. I never played it. Never ever played it. You know, I'm sure I set up the little characters, you know, and like set them on a shelf or something, but I never played it. And I still don't know how to play it today, but it's all in here. It's pretty awesome. I love it. Another board game, another actual, so this style of board game I was collecting for a while, back when I had a board game section in the room, Board Game Alley. For a while when I was going to the flea markets and Goodwills and stuff, I'd be looking for these VCR games, which were all the rage back in the day. But this is the WWF WrestleMania game. VCR game, and again, never ever played one of these ever. They had VCR games for everything, for, you know, football, basketball, college sports. They had I have Clue. I have the Clue VCR game. Tons of VCR games, but I never played it. And all I would do is watch the tape, which is just highlights, just like very brief, you know, move sets, you know, 10 seconds, you know, a punch or a move or something, because that's, I assume that that's how you play the game is with some of the moves. But I would just watch the tape over and over again, you know, just, but I don't know. So it is in there, and I do have, you know, I do have an awesome working VCR, so maybe someday we'll pop this in and take a look and see what it's all about again, try to remember it. It's very cool. These I loved. These I remember getting very specific. Christmas 1985, the year that I got my first big batch of LJN. So I had Hogan and Andre in '85, and then in Christmas '85 I got like 7 more. I got the whole first series aside from Snuka. And along with that, I got this, and I remember just loving this, and they promoted the heck out of it on WWF TV, and I had to have this, and I would listen to this thing cover to cover, song to song, front to back. I would listen to this, and I remember on Christmas morning, 1985. I was playing it in the background of Christmas. Maybe I opened it first, I don't know. But as soon as I opened it, I said, I want to play this. So the WWF Wrestling album was playing in the background of my Christmas '85, right? So my sisters, you know, my mom, all opening their presents with Land of a Thousand Dances playing in the background. This is awesome. I love this. I just love this. Look at all the guys, you know, just hanging out. I always thought this was weird as a kid. Like, how on earth did they get all the bad guys and the good guys to hang out together and not fight? Like, how do you do that? How do you get them to do that? I have this on CD as well. And you know, until I got sick of it, I was burning that CD in the car. I was driving around town listening to Don't Go Messing with a Country Boy and Tutti Frutti from Mean Gene and Land of a Thousand Dances and Grab Them Cakes. The Junkyard Dogs Grab Them Cakes. So good. Nikolai Volkov's Cara Mia. I could sing it. I know it. It's in my head. But I won't. I won't sing it. And so here's a little trivia. That person, somebody just messaged me. I'm trying to get off the message. Okay. That person right there, right? Who's that? You know who that is? Big trivia question, guys. Who's that looking down with that weird black wig on? Who is that? That's Cyndi Lauper, ladies and gentlemen. Cyndi Lauper is credited on this album as Mona Flambe. Mona Flambe. Mona Flambe, as Jesse would say. I remember in this album, they mentioned Mona Flambe, and Jesse goes, Mona Flambe? Anyway, that's Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper helped out on the wrestling album. Mona Flambe, McMahon. Here's the single, which I would assume is more rare. Thumper. It says Thumper on it. That's weird. And take a look at that. Somebody wrote Thumper on the album. I never noticed that until just now. This is the single, Land of a Thousand Dances. What's on the B-side? Land of a Thousand Dances, the instrumental. So you could do a little karaoke, I guess. So the Land of a Thousand Dances single, in alternate cover, with a closer look of Mona Flambe, Cyndi Lauper. And she's on here somewhere. Where is she? Oh, they don't credit her on the album. But in here, she's credited somewhere. Where is she credited? Yeah, executive producers, David Wolf, who was affiliated with Cyndi Lauper. We're getting into some war to settle the score stuff with David Wolf. Produced by David Wolf, Vince McMahon, somebody named Lenny Petz, Joel Dorn, Rick Derringer, and Mona Flambe. Cyndi Lauper. Yeah, so here's the single with the back. This is so great. This is such a good thing. I want so much more wall space. I would just hang these and actually I could. There's some wall space over there. I want this to be front and center. I want to look at this because it's such a great. And of course, you know, as the albums faded out, they released the wrestling album / cassette. Yes, of course. And this is still sealed. But the wrestling album cassette is a must-have. Background vocals, also Mona Flambe, and somebody named Vicky Sue Robinson, who's on Grab Them Cakes. Margaret Dorn, Valerie Wilson, Lisa Herman, Linda Moore, Jimmy Hart, Eric Weisberg, and Charlie Brown all did background vocals on the wrestling album. So cool. Some serious kayfabe going on here. Mona Flambe, that's so great. Mona Flambe. All right, this is actually a relatively newer pickup within the last year or so. This was super cheap. I must have been on eBay at the right time. I got this for like less than $20, and I can't believe that I did. But it's from 1988. It is a WWF seat cushion. I assume arena sold. I assume that this was sold in arenas. I don't remember seeing it in the merchandise catalog in the WWF magazine. I could be wrong. I assume that maybe this was sold at WWF house show souvenir tables. It's a pad, right? It's a seat pad. So when you go to your WWF show, you can sit in comfort with this WWF, what the world is watching. Oh, actually, no, the whole world is watching. The World Wrestling Federation. Cool little thing there. Now, I saved this. So this, oh man, you know, this was, I'll just show it to you. This was one of the greatest toy set, play set. So again, we're talking about a time when you don't know that things exist, right? You don't have the internet, you don't have you know, coming soon updates on your phone. You don't have any of that stuff. A lot of stuff that came out we didn't know about until we went to the store and found it, right? I had no idea that the cage match accessory set existed. No idea. I had no idea this existed until my grandma, who was responsible for getting me a large amount of these figures. For some reason, we were at Toys R Us or Kitty City, and I went down and I must have went down an aisle like backwards, or from the back side of the aisle. And as I'm coming up the aisle, you know, it's the LJN aisle, right? It's the wrestling figure aisle, and we're looking through, and they had stuff I needed. I remember getting Terry Funk that day. I remember getting SD Jones that day. But as I came out of the aisle and kind of turned to, like, you know, just head out and leave the store, the end cap had a mountain of these. A mountain of these. And if my memory is serving me correctly, and my memory is usually pretty good, this was $6.99. Not on sale, this was the retail price, $6.99. And I saw this. Hang on, somebody's message. Okay, I saw this and completely lost my mind in the middle of the store. And I was probably, I think this is 86. Yeah, this is 86, so I was 10. And I think that's still fairly immature. I think that's acceptable, because I squealed and jumped up and down and, like, embraced this and made sweet love to it right there in the aisle, because I didn't know that this thing existed. And I'm just walking around, oh, I got my Terry Funk and I got my SD Jones. All right, thanks, Grandma. Let's get out of here. Boom. and man, I became one with this in the middle of a toy store. I'm sure with other people walking around and looking at that weird kid, convulsing on the floor, clutching his steel cage. And of course I came home with it, because there was no way that my grandmother was gonna make me leave this behind. But man, this I just love so much. I love this thing. I remember getting it home. Actually, I again, the memory is just so clear. I was spending the night over her house that night. HBO boxing was on. My grandpa and I would always stay up and watch boxing on HBO. Even at 10, that was kind of our thing. And I was not into boxing that night, and I was sitting on the floor, and I just had a steel cage extravaganza. Every match was held in the steel cage. And I remember my grandpa was getting frustrated because, like, I was banging around in the ring at like 10:30 at night, and he's trying to watch, Hitman Hearns or something like that, and Sugar Ray Leonard, and I was just too zoned into the LJN steel cage. Ah, what a great experience. What a great memory. I love that memory. A couple of things real quick, and then we'll we'll wrap it up, and there'll be a part 2 of this because I've got a second. I've got another area of trinkets and doodads and things affiliated with the World Wrestling Federation that I'll show you, and that'll kind of wrap up the wrestling collection for WWF, and then we'll move on to other fun stuff. But these, so I was never a puzzle guy. I just didn't have the attention span or maybe just the interest in doing a puzzle. But when these came out, I'm going to do a puzzle. These are Wrestling Stars. This one is Wrestling Stars. That's interesting. I don't know what happened here. This is not Wrestling Superstars. This is the Wrestling Stars. And as you can see, there's a Wrestling Superstars. I don't know what's going on with that. Wrestling Stars, Wrestling Superstars, puzzles. This is the Good Guys, right? So you put together the puzzle, and then you got this awesome puzzle poster of WWF Good Guys. We've got the Captain Lou. This is sealed, so that's pretty cool. So I guess I could put that together and make sure, and know all the parts are there. Of course, we've got the Hulkster. Love this. This is the one I actually had as a kid and did put together, and my mom taped it on the back, and I hung it on my wall. But this is from Kmart at $2.47. That's awesome. And this is again Wrestling Stars, Hulk Hogan, and we can tell that he's got a solid headlock on Don Morocco right there. So very cool puzzles. Love those. There's a few more. There's the Bad Guys one. Actually, there might be just one more. You got the Good Guys, and there's a Bad Guys one as well. So, I'm on the hunt for the Bad Guys one, I guess. I'm not really looking, but if I ever came across it, that's the one I need, the Bad Guys. All right. Belts. Man, when I was a kid, I would wrestle with a very oversized stuffed animal, kind of like a carnival toy, like the top shelf carnival toy that you see all these idiots walking around with strapped to their back. They win this stupid thing 10 minutes after getting to the carnival, and they got to walk around. I would always see that at Darien Lake, which is right now it's a Six Flags. So with the Six Flags near me, I would always go in the summer, and I would just see these idiots walking around with these big bears. Like you get there, you play the game 15 minutes into the experience, into the 8-hour day, and now you got to carry around this stupid bear because your car is 3 miles away and you can't. Anyway, little sidebar there. I would wrestle. I had this big enclosed porch, and I would wrestle on this enclosed porch. And if you're going to wrestle, you need a championship belt. And so I would always make my own championship belts out of poster board, and I would try to make as intricate of it. I would always try to make the domed globe, the NWA, Ric Flair's NWA belt. And then I would always try to make the Hulk Hogan 85 belt. I would always try to make this one. But I could never get the drawings right. The sides were never equal. And so then I would just quit, and I would make big round belts, right? I would just take a dinner plate and just copy the dinner plate onto the paper and cut it out, and I would put straps on it and side plates, and I had a belt, which was awesome. Just great memories, great memories. Wish more than anything that I still had those. But then around 87 or so, they started producing actual belts for kids, toy belts. And I think I was coming out of the wrestling with the teddy bear phase, so I didn't care. But I would have loved these as a younger kid, maybe 8, 9 years old. I would have loved these. These came out in '88, I think. '89 actually. So yeah, I was definitely not wrestling with the teddy bear in '89. But we've got these WWF belts. These foam belts. So they're very cheap foam that have somehow lasted all these years. But very cheap foam and plastic plates glued onto the foam, and then you got your Velcro straps to fit around your waist. I could cut my promo with my belt. These are great. These are so great. These are catalog orders. These are merchandise catalog, and these are arena souvenirs from house shows. So we have the brown, unusually brown, WWF Intercontinental title in the never before used brown strap. We've got the World's Heavyweight Champion. Very great. Love that. And then we've got the, again, the never used gray strapped tag team titles. And you know, maybe they just did it for you know, just to differentiate between them, but you know, they got a perfect replica of the faceplate. You know, this could have easily been on a black strap and not really confused anybody. But anyway, the tag team belt, the Intercontinental, the World, and then you just strap them on. I'm a dual title holder right here. Yeah, love these. Love these. Would have killed for them as a very young child. A couple non-WWF things real quick I wanted to show you. I do have a replica domed globe. This is one of my favorite belts, probably my favorite. I just loved watching TBS, WTBS, Championship Wrestling, World Championship Wrestling 605 on Saturday nights in the 80s. Of course I was a WWF guy. Of course I was, you know, a Hulk Hogan guy. But there was just nothing better than Saturday night 605 TBS from the Turner Studios or wherever, Techwood Drive I think it was called, Techwood Drive Studios in Atlanta, for NWA Championship Wrestling. And this belt is like an iconic image of that era, because Ric Flair would always come out in his suit and his sunglasses and his weird white feathery hair, and he would just stand at the podium and just hold the belt and just cut this great promo. And I used to love that. Even as a kid, I just thought Ric Flair was the greatest. And this is not, you know, there's probably belt collectors out there that crap on replicas, and I couldn't care less. You know, this was like a $200 replica belt, really thin plates, really thin plates, and like belt collectors just hate these because they're so cheap. But yeah, this is great for me. It's awesome. I love it. I've got the NWA domed globe. This has just Ric Flair all over it. In fact, when I met Flair a few years ago, I was contemplating having him sign this, but then I would really have to figure out how to display it and really give that signature, proper viewing. Plus his signature, his autograph was like 100, and the photo was like 150. So I just went with the photo. But maybe someday we'll have Ric Flair sign this. I don't know. I think we might be running out of time with that, but that's it. That's it. So that's a bunch of the non-figure related WWF merchandise that I have. We'll do a part 2 of this with some stretch wrestlers and some glasses, some mugs, some cards. I got a whole bunch of, got another shelf full of non-figure related goodness, and we'll do that on the next episode. So thanks for hanging out. Again, hope everybody is doing well. Got the Hulk Hogan headband that I just might wear all day today. Got some weird hair sticking out of it, and we'll see y'all next time. A good night now.